with those ladies, but here, maybe not so much. Like, this was the episode the ladies had to bring their boyfriend or ex boyfriends to the show to meet their current connections and kind of have the exes fill out the connections. But it really seemed like an opportunity for some of these exes to spill some tea on the ladies. Let's get into it, y'all. It's only three people I care to talk about. That's Jeffri, Morgan, Cynthia. Everyone else was a fast forward. They were a bore. I really don't care. We didn't really learn too much. Except for Mercedes. Mercedes, your ex is kind of cute. Hey, Kamisha. Your ex is kind of cute. I would like to know what went wrong there, because I would have tried to get back with him. But anyway, first off, when Tommy gives the lady the assignment to go invite your exes on dates with your new connections, Jeffri said, "Hold up, let me talk to you in private, Tommy." Um, she explained that she only does long-term relationships, and so her two exes are her two baby daddies, to say it shortly, and that since these men no longer want to have anything to do with her children, she doesn't think it's appropriate to invite them on a show to get any kind of camera time, any kind of shine, and try to figure out who her next relationship would be when they can't even be in relation with their children. It makes sense to me. It makes complete sense to me. Like, you all can't even have a healthy relationship with your children. How are you going to navigate a healthy relationship for me in the future? I really don't understand. Now, I ain't no relationship expert. That's not my forte. I don't understand the point of introducing your ex to your next. They're an ex for a reason. Most exes probably don't have anything nice to say about you. They're either upset the relationship is over, they either cheated, you cheated. It's usually a reason why someone is an ex. And I'm if I had to do a show like Ready to Love, I'm really am thinking, what ex-boyfriend would I bring on television to say something about me and help me figure out who my next boyfriend should be? I don't think I have. Not recent. Now, mind you, I ain't had an ex-boyfriend in almost a decade, because this year will be no, next year will be 10 years. This year will be 9. So it still probably has been 10 years since I've been in the dating scene. But still, I probably have to go all the way back, maybe college, maybe high school. Like, I don't understand the point of it. Most people don't break up and say let's be friends. I know it's a cute thing that people like to say, but most exes aren't friends. And usually if you are friends, it's usually because you want to leave the door open in case you want to double back. And ain't nothing wrong with a double back. My husband is a double back. We dated in college and then that didn't work out, but we met later on again in life in our 30s, and now we're married. So whatever. I'm here for Jeffri, not bringing her exes on the show. I wouldn't bring none of mine either. Mm-mm. I damn sure, I damn sure wouldn't bring my son's father. And we cool. Like, that's probably the only ex I'm cool with, is because we have a good co-parenting situation now, and not really because my son is 19, but it took the damn near high school for us to get there. Like, it wasn't always good. But anyway, I ain't about to put all my business in the street. Let's move over to the people that did bring an ex. Let's jump into Morgan. Morgan brought her ex. I ain't take no notes, so I don't know his name. Morgan brought her ex, who seemed like, and one of the gentlemen pointed it out, they still have feelings for each other. Just the way they, maybe not feelings, but they still have a chemistry to where if the door opened back up, I could see them being back together. Like, the way they talked and banter with each other, it's an attraction and it's some kind of sexual chemistry still there. Um, Also, He revealed that Morgan is crazy, and because she thought he was cheating, she never confirmed that he was cheating, but because she thought he was cheating and he probably was on his last leg of the relationship, she put Nair in his hair and was shampooing the Nair in his hair, and then the next day it all fell out. Why, Morgan? Why is that your choice of a man to bring on national television to spill this tea? It does not paint you in a good light. Some men do like a woman that they deem crazy. Not saying that you need to be in a mental home, but that is a very non-normal thing to do, nair someone's hair. Like, we've all bleached a couple of clothes. Maybe we've all, allegedly, because please don't come knocking at my door all these years later, slashed a couple of tires. We've all allegedly threw televisions over the banister. We've all allegedly done a few crazy things, but I have never even crossed my mind to nair a man's hair. To me, that's my biggest nightmare, for someone to put nair in my shampoo and one day I wake up and it's all out on the ground. Like, especially men who care about their hair that much to grow it out and, keep it oiled up and trimmed. They really value their hair. And if you were to just nair it out, like, yes, relationship is done. I don't know how you come back from that. I can't believe he would agree to come on this show, maybe just to embarrass you by telling that story. It just wasn't a good choice, Morgan. And for me, if this man is your choice to bring on the show, it tells me you've probably done something even crazier to other men. Like, this is probably your light work. This is probably your lightest story. All men who don't have time for it, and I would say probably the men on these shows are in their upper 30s, mid 40s. They done playing the crazy game. They're done with it. And so I feel like you kind of lost out on Tony. You could clearly see Tony's attitude towards you through that conversation shifted. And I don't think Lyndon ever really cared, because when the man asked Lyndon, what do you like about Morgan, he couldn't even come up with the answer. It was like, everything, I guess, everything. And Tony wasn't too better. He just liked your body. He's attracted to you and he likes that you're spiritual. And that was the very first thing you all said to each other. Like, Tony, you haven't learned anything else about Morgan outside of her spirituality. But anyway, let's move on from that. But good luck, Morgan, because good luck. Up next, I want to talk about Cynthia. Cynthia brought her children's father to the dates to meet Andre and Anthony. I feel like this show is not the opportunity to really bring your children's father into the situation. Now, yes, some people feel like, well, if you dating my baby mama, I need to meet him. I need to know who's gonna be around my kids, vice versa. I understand that logic, but I didn't live in that world, mostly because me and my son's father never really lived in the same state. I was either in Georgia or now Tennessee, and he was always in Alabama. So it was never, ain't nobody about to take no drive or flight to introduce you to somebody. Like, no. But anyway, we had the understanding of trust where he knew I had good sense. He trusted me to not put my child in a situation around someone crazy. I'm gonna leave that at that. Leave that at that. I don't want to go into too much of our business, but it was a trust thing. So I just feel like Ready to Love, like, this is somebody for maybe a month off of television. I don't think Cynthia is getting ready to invite any of these people around her children anytime too soon. So I didn't feel like it was the baby daddy's turn to really get to meet somebody. And I just have to stick under the mindset to each their own. Like I said, that's not my story. That wasn't my path. I don't feel like it's necessary for your baby daddy to meet every man that you date. But I ain't about to go down that rabbit hole. Some of y'all believe it. Good for you. Um, this man's mission was to come on this show and wreak havoc on the men interested in Cynthia. Some people think the man still wants Cynthia. I don't think he want anything to do with Cynthia, because if he wanted her, he probably would have had her. But I think he reminds me of the type of man of, I can't have you, so can't nobody else have you either. And that was the mission I felt like he was on at this dinner. I didn't even feel like the questions that he was asking were valid. Like, okay, how many relationships have you had? I don't, whatever the number is, why does it matter? He's single now. He's single now. I never understand why people care about the number. I can't understand. Like, he even asked him, like, you 39 and you ain't got no kids. What's wrong with you? I think that's amazing that a man knows how to put a condom on and protect himself and not have all these children out of wedlock until he's ready. I don't see anything wrong with a man at 39, 49 with no children. Who says the rule for being a man is to have a child out of wedlock and to just have all these children populating the earth? Now, I ain't gonna judge, because I wasn't married when I had my son. I'm not saying that to judge anyone. I'm just saying I don't see anything wrong with him not having any children at 39. I also don't understand how many flings have you had? What does that have anything to do with Cynthia? I'm just asking the questions I know Cynthia wants to ask. So how many flings have you had? Now, Andre did go into talking about all his business accomplishments and what magazines he was in, and that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. It just seemed like a conversation that was combative from the beginning, and no matter what Andre said, the baby daddy wasn't going to be happy with it. And no matter what, even if he would have, because I felt like Anthony came in and he was handling the conversation much better, and he was doing the same thing with Anthony. And it came to the point when Andre was like, I ain't got to put up with this. And Cynthia, I feel like that's, unfortunately, while you sitting back taking these shots, you keep bringing your baby daddy around and putting him as a deciding factor of some of your relationships, you're going to keep seeing men getting up and walking away, because men don't have to put, that's probably the number one question men ask when you say, I have children. How's your children's father? Is he crazy? Is he going to be an issue? That's usually the follow-up question. And Cynthia, you already showed them your red flag. Not saying that you're a red flag, but that baby daddy's attitude is a red flag. Most men are not going to sit up there and put up with it. For what? Especially in the beginning. Maybe after they already fall in love with you. They fall in love with the children. They might be like, look, I love her. I'll roll my eyes at him if I ever have to be in his space. But in the beginning, they can already foresee the future and they don't want to put up with that. Anthony was like, here my number. Because, Anthony kind of saw how it went down because Anthony, what was he there? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Anthony was like, I already see what you're doing to Andre. I got to go too. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and have you talk to me any kind of way on television. And Anthony was still, I don't want to say more of a man about it, because I appreciate Andre getting up and walking away, because it seemed like this man wanted something to escalate. And Anthony was like, look, I ain't going nowhere. Hear my number. Call me. So I don't think Anthony wants to put up with Cynthia either. Like, good luck, Cynthia. I wouldn't have brought my baby daddy in. And maybe that's the reason why you did it. You got a crazy baby daddy. You need to know from the beginning, can you deal with him or not? Most people gonna pick not. I ain't got time to be fighting your baby daddy for your love. But up next, everybody else went on a date. Marcia went on a date with Blue and Tony. Marcia, you need to understand, ain't none of these men, I told you a couple of videos ago, beautiful woman. I love your style. Marcia has probably some of the best fashion that I like on this show this season. But none of these men never had you as their number one. You were always just a vote for them. So Blue isn't interested. And that's probably why he happily went home this week. Like, there's not a woman here that Blue is interested in. Tony wants Morgan. Tony wants to have sex with Morgan. And he's just using you, and he was using Janique. Is it Janique as a vote to stay on the show as long as possible so he could possibly have sex with Morgan? Tony doesn't care either. I wish you would see that, Marcia, and just go home too. Just go home too. Quit playing in these men face. It ain't nobody here for you, girl. Beautiful woman, just not a match on this show. Sue Ann, I don't know why Sue Ann is talking to anyone outside of her boyfriend Blake. Because I still remember a couple of episodes ago that was your man. Jeffri sat down with all the people she had connections with to explain why her baby daddies ain't here for them to meet. I don't care. She had a romantic date with Andre at his house. They looking over the ocean. Beautiful home, beautiful view. I think I turned the episode, or I must have fast forward because everybody was telling me, oh, he was feeding her food and they did XYZ. I said, I ain't seen none of that. I ain't seen no food. I ain't seen no feeding. I had to have hit fast forward. But at the end of the day, Blue went home over Blake. Like, we've had our production value out of Blake. Like, we've had the Blake versus Jeffri moment. We had the Blake versus Morgan moment. Like, we've had all the entertainment value we need out of Blake. Can we please send him home? Nobody wants him but Suzanne. And I don't even understand why Suzanne is still here. We've had our Suzanne versus Jeffri beef. Like, it's time for Suzanne and Blake to go. But I guess, look, this season of Ready to Love, for me, mind you, I ain't watched last season, so last season could have been worse. But this season of Ready Love, to me, is one of the seasons where I don't see any connections. I don't see any true connections. The only man that I think is very sincere on finding love is Anthony. And I'm happy all of the ex-boyfriends that Anthony met all put Anthony first. Like, you should date Anthony. You should date Anthony. You should date Anthony. And I feel like all the women took that to heart because now all of the women who had Anthony at the number 2 spot now have Anthony as number 1. Suzanne, Blake is your man. How you sitting up here talking about, I think Anthony is my number 1? No. I don't care what nobody else said. You should have told your ex, look, I don't even know why we meeting Anthony because Blake is my man. Mercedes says Anthony is now her top over Mark Anthony. I thought Mercedes and Mark Anthony were a good match, but maybe Mark Anthony really isn't ready to love. They trying to make it seem like he young and not really ready. Who knows? Maybe he's just not ready to love none of y'all. And now Cynthia wants Anthony. She talking about Anthony is mine. Girl, you was just in love with the ponytail, the puff, the curl. Whatever. Next week, we're going to have the men bring on their best friends. Okay. I don't care. We're really just dwindling it down. Like, right now, it's really a popularity contest because it's not really, we don't have a match. No one really has a match with anyone. Like, put it in the comments. Who do you think, as of right now, will be our top 3 couples? Like, I can't even tell you a clear top 3 couple. Because now we got to figure out who Anthony's going to pick. Maybe Jeffri and Andre. That's going to aggravate me. It's really going to aggravate me if Andre makes it to the end. But you know what? I'm overshading his hairstyle because everyone's entitled to wear their hair however they like it. Andre impressed me on how he handled Cynthia's baby father. So, but anyway, I don't even see 3 couples right now. Like everybody is just playing in everyone's face for a vote. So I guess we'll see. We'll get there. We'll see. But anyway, you all like, comment, share. Please subscribe to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I'm on my road to 1,000. I'm having a good time. I'm cranking out the content. We'll see what happens next week on Ready to Love. Maybe we might have a more clear vision of the couples. Up next, 7 minutes, I'm going to get into RuPaul's Drag Race. I really only have about 10 minutes of conversation there. But after that, at 6 o'clock, we're going to dig into Potomac Reunion Part 3. So I hope you all come back. If not, I will see you next week for something else. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.